Good morning. Take two. It's Lily leaving for my morning walk. I forgot my headset the first time. And I want to make sure you can hear the video. The audio, I mean. So, it's 7:30 a.m. Nice cool morning in Florida. Finally. I've been meditating this morning before going on my walk. Listening to some really cool people. Louise Hay was the woman whom I was listening to this morning. And other times I listen to Wayne Dyer or Tony Robbins or Abraham Hicks. And it's all geared towards getting and keeping myself in the right frame of mind. Starting my day out right and keeping it there. So, that said, today's topic is how to do an inspection on a home that you are thinking of buying and rehabbing for profit. Now, last video we talked about different ways to acquire properties, and that sometimes they're bought at auction or from a bank and there aren't any utilities on. So if you don't have any power in your house before you buy it, you can still do a lot of checking, either on your own if you know a little bit about what you're doing, or preferably with your contractor. If you have a good relationship with someone who is willing to do free estimates, or at least a small fee, like $60 or something, to come and do a walkthrough with you, it can save you a lot of heartache in the long run. But different people know different things. Most general contractors, or at least knowledgeable builders, who maybe don't have their general contractor's license but have been in the trades for a long time, can walk through a house and see things that you will miss. They can usually check the condition of the roof and have them walk around maybe with a screwdriver and poke at some of the wood on the fascia around the door frames and the trim. If you live in a state that's really wet, have them check down by the ground for any earth to wood contact. Big boom over there. Anyway, those are things that will cause a house to possibly fail an inspection at resale if you don't fix them. So they need to be in your budget so that you don't shoot yourself in the foot with a really beautiful kitchen remodel and rotted wood on your exterior that you didn't care about or didn't know about. So that said, do a walk around the outside. Check if you have different infrastructure pieces like sprinkler systems or a well or city water connection. Check after you've already bought the house and you're finally putting it in your name, you can turn the utilities on. You want to check that when the water is onto the house, that there aren't any leaks. Turn all the faucets on and look underneath, in the like under the sink cabinets and around the base of the toilet, and try to see if you see any water coming through. Once you can tell there's no leaks in the house when the water's on, turn everything off, and then have your contractor look at the water meter if you're on city water, and make sure that it's not spinning when everything is off, because that could mean you have a leak in your slab or some other kind of unforeseen leak that's not at one of your fixtures. I remember buying a house just this past summer, and we finally had the water turned on, and it just came spewing out from under the garage door because the water main had been just busted off in the garage. So not only was there no way to shut off the water, there was no main shut-off valve to the house, there was also no supply to the house. So there was no way to get water inside. So that required a jackhammer through the slab in the garage to get access to the water main, and then coming through the garage wall where the main was servicing, providing water and pressure to an outside hose bib, and then coming through the wall behind the hose bib and connecting it into this main supply for the house. But I'll tell you, I was sweating bullets wondering if maybe the main supply was wrong and if I would have to rip up the entire slab or replumb the entire house. But those are some of the things that if a house is occupied, you can more or less be assured that at least the water supply is on. But you still want to check all your fixtures and make sure that they're working. Now that's some of the stuff you can do yourself. But you might want to have a plumber look at your water heater, or an HVAC guy look at your heating and air conditioning systems. The air conditioning has several components to it, and in Florida, depending on the size of the house, that can cost you $3,500-$4,500, and that's when you buy it at a good price. There's other people who will come try and rip you off for $10,000 for a new system installed, and that's just whack. So be aware of these hype salespeople, and I got a lot of calls. They come at you, they find out that you're the new owner. They get that from the public records, and they start bombarding you for service calls and maintenance contracts and things like that. It's best if you can just have one person who's either a general contractor or an eligible builder come with you and look at the infrastructure of your property. Okay, so now we've talked about exterior, talked about infrastructure like water systems. Now let's talk about electrical. In houses that have been abandoned or bank owned and thus not occupied for many years, there's been a tendency in a lot of neighborhoods for thieves to come in and rip the wiring out of the walls. They do this so they can sell the copper and the metal to a scrapyard and presumably, buy drugs or feed their family or whatever they're doing with the money that they feel like they can just rip up a house. So it costs a lot to rewire a house. And in Florida, there's, a certain type of service panel that is not even acceptable to an insurance company. So you'd need to, in some cases, replace the entire panel. Many cases, the wiring is fine. You can get away with just an upgrade on maybe an old circuit breaker or two here and there. But if you do have to replace the panel, an electrician would be able to tell you if you need that and how much it would cost. It can be anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 to replace the whole panel. That's materials and labor. And maybe you can get it for less if you know somebody. Maybe they'll do it for $800 for you. I don't know. When I have to replace stuff like that, I try to get a package deal going, figure out what else electrical work I need done, and have them try and do it all at one lump sum. But if my carpenter / general contractor / builder can replace a ceiling fan or change out a light fixture, a lot of times I'm just going to have him do that. But check your local codes. If you're not doing new work and you're just replacing what was already there, a lot of times you can just go ahead and do it as an owner builder. Do it yourself even. Learn how to do it. I've learned how to do a lot of things. You can go to YouTube. You can learn just about anything on YouTube. Okay, so now we talked about roof, exterior, water, electrical, HVAC. Those are pretty much the main services to your home. The next thing you want to just look at is what's the condition of the rest of the property. Are there a lot of holes in the drywall? Is the flooring shot? Flooring is usually a very expensive component, $3,000-$4,000 or up and up, depending on what you pick. You know, do you need new appliances? Those can run you $1,200, even on sale for a nice stainless steel suite. Or you can try buying nice used ones. They usually don't match, but just depends. You know, is this a rental? Is this a flip? How much do you want to spend? Is it really high end? You know, you can't put used Frigidaire appliances in a beachfront condo in a really nice neighborhood and expect to get top dollar for it. But don't overspend either. And we'll talk more about that next time. So those are the main components. By the way, remember, if you're going to have to redo your flooring, you probably also have to redo your base trim. And even though the materials don't cost a lot, it can run you in labor to have some finished carpenter or some skilled carpenter down there on his hands and knees cutting all those corners and mitering corners, not cutting corners like skipping and doing a bad job. I literally mean cutting the trim around all those corners. Closet doors can run you. New sinks and vanities can run you. So just take an inventory of what is missing, and next time we'll talk about how to prioritize your rehab project, because you need to get it saleable before you make it beautiful. Okay? So that's all for now. This is Lily, signing off till next time.